happened over, I think, the last month or so. A U.S. Navy veteran having mental health crisis died after an officer knelt on his neck. So family of Angelo Quinto said police officer knelt on his neck for almost 5 minutes after they called for help. This is reading from The Guardian. A U.S. Navy veteran who was experiencing a mental health crisis died after a police officer called out to help him, knelt on his neck for several minutes, asphyxiating him, lawyers for his family have said. Angelo Quinto, 30, was suffering a bout of paranoia, anxiety, and depression in his family home in Antioch, Northern California, when his sister, Isabella Collins, called the police on the 23rd of December. According to an account given by the family at a recorded press conference, the responding officer grabbed Quinto from the arms of his mother, who was trying to calm him down, then knelt on his neck for almost 5 minutes while his legs were being held by another officer. In a cell phone video recorded by his mother, Cassandra Quinto Collins, her son is seen lying limp on the floor with blood on his face, and on the floor beneath him, she is heard saying, "What happened? Does he have a pulse?" as officers begin pumping his chest in an attempt to resuscitate him. So again, I just want to talk, again, the reason why I focus so much on this sort of thing is because, people are under the impression, when George Floyd was murdered, right? People are like, I've never seen that before. It was an outlier, right? A lot of people are out there saying there's good apples. It's just a few bad apples, right? Only a small fraction of police are bad, actually. It's not like it's, 99.99999999999%. No. It's not like the system of policing in this country is rotten to the core. No. It's just like a couple sprinkled in there, just a few bad apples. That's what people, for whatever reason, have to say. And again, this is not the 23rd of December in 1963. This is the 23rd of December as in 3 months ago. All right, so this is something you need to understand. This is not new, right? And this is not going to stop unless people do something about it. So it's disgusting. Quinto was taken unconscious to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead 3 days later. Lawyers for the family have filed a wrongful death claim against the city of Antioch, accusing police of having carried out an illegal chokehold. The family's lawyer, John Burris, told the ABC channel 7 News, "Given what we know, a healthy young man in his mother's arms, they stuffed the life out of him." Burris said the family intends to file a federal lawsuit relating to Quinto's death at a later date. Again, this guy is a veteran. This guy actually, served this country in a capacity that, in some, it's more honorable than being a dipshit beat cop, right? Like, when you compare and contrast, I'm not a huge fan of military, I'm not a huge fan of police, right? But when you compare and contrast, right, the amount of fortitude and the amount of respect that a person should garner when they're in the military versus being a dipshit, donut-eating, pig-faced, dumb fuck beat cop, I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry, but I feel like the cops had a little bit of jealousy on that one. Maybe I'm just, He told the Associated Press that the case and the alleged use of a chokehold bore similarities with the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis last May, which sparked a nationwide eruption of protests against police brutality. Huge protests spread into a revival and expansion of the Black Lives Matter movement and demands for radical reforms to end institutionalized racism in the criminal justice system and across American society. I refer to it as the George Floyd technique. That's what snuffed the life out of him, and that cannot be a lawful technique. We see not only violations of his civil rights, but also violations against the rights of his mother and sisters who saw what happened to him, Burris said. Now, again, this is why if you're ever in a situation where someone's experiencing a mental health crisis, never call the cops. If you call the cops, you could be, for the rest of your life, feeling responsible for killing whoever you love in that situation. Right? Now, imagine being this person's sister or mother, right? And they have to live the rest of their lives thinking, what if we didn't call the cops? Then he would be alive right now. 50, 60 years from now, they're going to be thinking, what if I didn't pick up that phone? What if I had just called someone else, right? And no one should have to deal with that kind of traumatic life just for the rest of their lives. Again, I covered this story a while ago where there was a cop that entered someone's home after being called for a mental health crisis, and the child in this instance was already handcuffed and on the floor, right? And they were already apprehended. They were having a mental health episode, and a cop waltzed in plain clothes and said, "I don't have time for this." He was on drugs, by the way, they later found. He was on drugs. He said, "I don't have time for this," and just shot the kid who was on the floor. Just for fun. "I don't have time for this." Like, cops are fucking garbage. There's no such thing as a good cop. Oh, my brother's a good cop. No, your brother's a garbage cop. Oh, but my uncle was, no, your uncle's a piece of garbage. Oh, but my mom was such a good, no, your mom is a dumb bitch whore, okay? I'm sorry. There's no such thing as a good cop. Antioch police have so far declined to comment. After the family's legal claim was filed last week, the police department said it was unable to provide information as the investigation was ongoing. Again, just because you're a cop does not mean that you should be immune, right? You shouldn't be immune to criminal charges. If you kill someone, in fact, the way it should work is if your job is to protect and serve, right? That's your job, to make sure people are safe. I think you should be prosecuted more than if your job was garbage collection. Like, if someone gets into a tussle with you and you're a garbage collector and you pull out a gun and shoot them, you should be held criminally liable. But if someone's job is to protect that person and you still pull out a gun and shoot them or kill them in another fashion, you should not be held less criminally liable. You should be held more criminally liable, because all cops are bastards. Their job is to protect us, and they're killing us. It's bizarre. It's strange. It would be like if your teacher, right, in second grade, instead of teaching you mathematics, they were just lying to you. Oh yeah, 3 minus 5 equals 69? Well, you shouldn't be allowed to be a teacher if that's the kind of shit you're going to be teaching children. It's the same kind of stuff. One question that is likely to feature in the investigation and any developing court case is why the responding police officers appeared not to be wearing body cameras when they entered Quinto's home. The family also want to know why the officers reacted to Quinto so abruptly and taking him from his mother's arms, even though they had been forewarned that he was having mental health difficulties. The AP reported that Quinto, who was born in the Philippines, was honorably discharged from the Navy in 2019. The family said that he had long struggled with depression and more recent episodes of paranoia and anxiety. The man's sister, Collins, told AP that she now regretted calling the police for help. "I asked the detectives if there was another number I should have called, and they told me that there wasn't, and that I did the right thing. But right now, I can tell you that the right thing would not have killed my brother." Again, this woman, for the rest of her life, is going to be thinking, what if I didn't call the police? Right? It's just disgusting, the kind of bullshit that, again, you call medical emergencies, right? 911 is the same number for an ambulance, and it's the same number for the fire department, that kind of shit, right? You call all of these, it's if you need help, you call that hotline. That's what the whole purpose is. It would be like if you called the pizza place and then the pizza place delivered poison gas to your room, right? It's like, all right, hi, I'd like a large, mushroom and anchovy pizza. Okay, that'll be okay. And then 30 minutes later, someone shows up with the flamethrower and lights your house on fire. It's like, what? That's not what I called for. I called for a fucking pizza. Now all of a sudden my entire family has been set on fire. Again, you might think that that's hyperbolic, but it's not. When you call for a medical emergency and instead of an ambulance showing up with mental health professionals and instead armed thugs show up and kill your fucking family member, then that's what the fuck? But this is the system that we've got in this country. This is the system. You can call for a pizza and get a fucking bomb delivered to your house. And guess what? The people that deliver that bomb, the people that deliver the poison gas, they're going to get away with it because that's the system of governance we have. And it's just disgusting. It's reprehensible. And every single member of the police department who even attempts in any capacity to downplay this kind of violence, I think should be held criminally liable. If you are a cop and you are participatory in any violence against any person, right, like this, in this capacity especially, I think you deserve to go to prison for the rest of your life. Fuck you, okay? You were charged. Your goal in society was to protect people, and you just killed them for fun and entertainment, I'm sorry, you don't get to go back into society. This is where I say we take all these cops, put an island somewhere, like just make an island somewhere, right? Like in Minecraft, right, where you've got like the one tree challenge, like send all the cops to a small island with one tree and a pickaxe or whatever, and just have them fend for themselves, because they do not belong in society. They are garbage, they're detrimental, they are reprehensible, and they are inhumane. And that's what you need to understand. There's no such thing as a good cop. Fuck your brother, fuck your mother, fuck your father, fuck your uncle, fuck your aunt. They're all garbage, and you're garbage for defending them.